Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back at the Queen's Table podcast. I am your host, Marissa J. And I've got a story for you. A quick little incident that happened earlier this morning. I had stopped in at the gas station to get a coffee on my way back home to finish up and do a couple of things for the podcast. And as I walk in, there was a two women that were standing by the kiosk, and one of the women turns to looks at me and says, "Hey!" And I look at her and I'm like, "Hey, girl!" I don't know her. She don't know me, but I sure did. I said, "Hey," and a few seconds later, she turns to me. She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a friend of mine." I was like, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was famous." Girl, I just let this podcast get to my head. Thinking that random people are recognizing me. Oh my goodness. So we just laughed about that for a few minutes because it was too funny. And so I explained to them like, hey, I host a podcast. It's really small, it's not a major thing. It's definitely not a major thing just yet. It's getting there, but it's not a major thing. And they were like, well, what's the name of the podcast? I'm like, yes. So I tell them and they find it and they start playing it. And, so yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what's up. Tell people, open your mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. So thank you so much, Miss Tarika Taylor and Katrina Starks, for at least for even inquiring about what it is that I'm doing. And I mean, like, I didn't ask y'all to purchase anything. I never asked anybody to buy anything. I haven't. So it's just kind of like, okay, you don't have to buy anything. Just listen to a message or two. So thank you to beautiful, beautiful ladies for being subscribers now. Yay! Really excited about that. Um, these this I interviewed. I sat down and spoke with Marc Reeves, who found me through a mutual podcast Facebook group, and we just started chatting and talking from there about different theories and whatnot. And he started listening to the show, and I asked him if he wanted to come on because he had some feedback. And I'm like, hey, do you want to come on? Like, we could definitely sit down and talk about like all of this. And he was really excited, so I'm like, all right, cool. So I called him up on the phone, and we did a phone interview. Man, I'm sitting here thinking it's going to be maybe like 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, how am I going to fill up the rest of my day? Girl, we talked like for over 3 hours. So for the next couple of days, this one interview is going to be split up into multiple parts. But I promise you, it is so worth it. It is so worth it. We got down into some really really deep shit. It's good. It's real good. So, anyhow, without further ado, enjoy the show. Alrighty, Mark. So we are recording now, and so you listen. Did you? So you got a chance to listen to all of the religion series?
I did not get a chance to listen to all of them.
Okay.
I think I went to episode 3,
Uh-huh.
And when I got to episode 3, I agree with you 100%. With everything you were saying. I mean, it wasn't too much to disagree with, just because you were just reading or quoting the Bible, right? And I don't get into the the Bible myself. Mm-hmm. And I kind of see it the way you see it. Like it's not. It's like if I read the story, it would definitely be unbelievable to me too. Right. So the way he was reading it, I took it as she's thinking like I'm thinking. So it was like, and I listened to a lot of podcasts. So I listened to a podcast. Somebody read the whole Bible on that podcast, not on one episode, but they read like a certain amount every podcast, and they read a lot of it. So you were just saying the same thing pretty much. But I agree with you 100%. Okay. Okay. Any particular points that jumped out at you? Like I said, if you ever get into spirituality, I disagree with you, and I'm definitely curious about that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, in the latter episodes, that's when I get into talking about African traditional African spiritualism, and that basically what it is you're not giving any praise or worship to any particular deities per se, but more so your ancestors. So your ancestors are the spirits that surround you. You give praise and thanks to them. They're the ones that watch up, kind of like guardian angel ish, like comparison to that. And the reason why I talked about that is because in that first episode where I got really, really technical about everything, I mentioned the first law of thermodynamics, that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. Right. And I know we talked about that a little bit. On like how, what the energy that's within you. Everything has energy, from a soda pop can to plants to your water heater. Like everything has energy within it. And it's scientifically proven we do have energy. That's what creates us. That's what's keeping us alive, is energy. And once that energy leaves our vessel, when we die, it doesn't just go away. It has to remain somewhere. Now, whether or not that energy goes into a tree or a different person, or on another spiritual plane, I don't know. We have no idea on that. But it can't be destroyed. I know that, and that's going by the laws of science. It cannot be destroyed. So that's kind of why I wanted to get into African spiritualism, because a lot of their practices really are based on science. You just have to dig for it. You know what I mean? Like they don't understand. Not a lot of people understand that when we pass, our energy has to go somewhere. It doesn't remain in us, otherwise we wouldn't, be dead. So I kind of just that's why I wanted to get into that and just explore a little bit further into that. So what do you think about that? All right. Like I said, like anything you discuss about the Bible or quoted about the Bible, I agree with you 100%. Overall factor, like with the religious in general, if you ask spirituality into the religion conversation, I will have to agree with everything only 90%. So you take that 10%, I'm just going to focus on spirituality, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the question I have about spirituality is it worshipable? I don't know if that's a word, but I'm going to make it a word today. Is it something you're willing to worship, or is it the way we look at science? Like, I know we have energy flowing through us. Let's just say electrical energy. We can conduct types of energy. Are you looking at it from a scientific state of mind or a religious state of mind? Well, I don't like to use the word religious, because religious has certain connotations with it that comes along with it.
And I know we're getting into semantics here, but with religion, it's an organized structure of beliefs. And that's not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm thinking we can apply science along with spirituality. Um, an atheist can still be spiritual. If you look at through the Hubble telescope and see billions of planets all around us, I mean, that's a humbling experience, you know? So that there is spirituality, there can be spirituality in a lot of things, and especially in science. But you know, when I look at religion, if I can't back it up with something tangible, I can't put any faith into it. Now, when you say is spirituality worshipable, it's not that these people are worshiping their ancestors or these energies. Um, it's not that they're worshiping them in the sense that Christianity worships God or Islam worships Allah, which are one and the same, really. You know, it's not in the sense that most people think. Take Buddhism, for example. Say what now? Okay, okay. So yeah, so take Buddhism for example. You know, Buddhists, they don't worship Buddha. They don't. They see him as a prophet. They see him as somebody that is one who tried to attempted to bring people to a different level of consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So they're not worshiping Buddha. They respect him and they revere him. Um, Muslims don't worship Muhammad, you know? So it's just kind of it's like that. It's not a matter of them worshiping any one particular thing. They're giving praise to just about everything. Things that give you sustenance, things that give you life, the sun, the moon, water, the ground that produces food. You know, that these are the things that's what goes into African spiritualism. And I don't see any issue with giving thanks and giving praise to these things because these are tangible things that do give you life. Whereas in the Christian faith, we'll just use Christianity for example. In the Christian faith, there's a lot of things that you can't really put your finger on. And it gets a kind of it gets hard to back that up with scientific evidence, you know? Like I had mentioned, I can't remember which episode it was, but I had mentioned that with the flood, you know, Noah's Ark and the whole flood scene, it's scientifically impossible for it to rain for 40 days and 40 nights. There is not that much water on Earth. There just isn't. It really isn't. Even if it was just a light sprinkle, but enough for it to flood and have a giant boat by those dimensions, it's not scientifically plausible. It just isn't. You can't there now if it were to have said that that region was flooded, okay, that might be a little bit more believable. But then at the same time, if you look at the landscape of that area at that time, it couldn't have been flooded. Not enough to where you would have to have a big boat by those dimensions. So when there's a conflict there, when religion conflicts with scientific fact, then that's where I have an issue. So yeah, so I mean, technically anything is worshipable. We're gonna hashtag tag that. Hashtag worshipable. New word. Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so can I squeeze in? Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I didn't want to cut you off. No, no, not at all. Like I said, when you get into Noah's, when you get into the, because it's two different conversations.
I mean, it's three different conversations, right? The spiritual conversation, the Bible conversation, just say religion and a Bible conversation, and then it's a whole nother conversation when you start turning the pages of the Bible and start reading the pages. So I never turn the pages of the Bible. I never want to do that. I never want, because they contradict that they contradict themselves all the time when they into the pages of the Bible. Like the Bible itself contradicts itself. I just looking at the book, that's a different conversation. I always wonder why do people pick up the book. I always get into that conversation with people. So I go, I separate those two conversations, but the conversation about spirituality, I try to stay focused on that. So if I'm taking everything you said before you got into Noah's Ark, which I understand all that, the contradictions. When you say spirituality and you don't worship it, but you believe in it, it's not really confirming what it actually is. Like, so from your definition or from your explanation, I can definitely be spiritual, right? Because I believe in science. I don't worship science. Science change. There's new ideas. They come and go. Right. It's still people telling you, and people can be wrong. So like you don't take it at 100%. You could if you want, but you don't have to. And it doesn't change your life. Right? So me knowing I'm connected with water, I take in water, right? I live off water, I drink water. Water is great. It helps me. But I don't say I'm spiritual because of that. It's like certain energies I get from certain things, just because I use those energies or the energies use me does not mean I'm spiritual, or does it from your definition? See, that's the confusion I get. Like, I understand the trees, the planets, the earth, to say the earth, just anything inside the earth, anything outside the earth, somehow it's all connected, which I understand, right? Right. But you get to the point of spirituality, and it throws me off, because when I think of spirituality, I think of spirits. Like energy, of course, but I don't think of electric energy or energy that draws me towards water. I think of an energy like ghosts. When you take spirituality and take the angle of spirits and ghosts, that always leads to religion to me. When it relates to religion, it leads to a book. Okay. Right? So if you got a different angle on it, I want to understand that angle, but I think so many people change words to mean what they wanted to mean. Right. And right. So not knocking what you said. Right. I mean, I'm not saying you wrong or I don't believe you. I'm just saying I don't understand you. Right. When you say, like I said, when you say spirit, when you use the word spirit, I'm definitely thinking of like ghosts. Okay, gotcha. So just say, if you can come up with a word like that's something that consists of energy, like a word like something to do with energy, and then you can have that word. Okay. But thinking the word spirit is like, it's like somebody calling a tree God. Some people believe that. Some people. Yeah, see, that's the thing. You taking the original word God, it could have been something else, but we know the masses use God for godly things or godly issues or religion, right? But for the most part, so if somebody call a tree God, you're changing the word tree to God. Tree has its own tree.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Tree has its own definition. So that's why I don't know if I'm confusing you.
No, I'm following. Yeah, no, I'm following you. I am. Okay, so the issue at hand here is first we need to tackle the definition of spirituality. And once we get so once we get that nailed down, then we would be able to understand a lot of things that people use around that word. So people do use that word. You're right. People do use that word interchangeably. Um, some people do talk about spirituality in terms of deceased loved ones and their energies lingering or whatever, or as you would say, like ghosts or spirits or whatever. I personally don't see it that way. Like, I get what you mean, but I don't see it that way. So spirituality, for me anyway, is being able to understand that there are things that are bigger and greater than you. That being able to connect spiritually. Now, connecting to whatever it is, connecting to the earth, connecting with other people, connecting to the universe, that your energy being able to give off those vibrations, those vibes, and being able to receive those vibes from different things. That's what spirituality is to me personally. So,
all right. Mm-hmm. You stop me right there. Okay. I wanna do it in segments.
Okay.
You can because you would definitely double down, and you'll keep going, which is nothing wrong with that. But I hear things, and I want to jump in and be like, I say this, and then answer that question or get to that point without losing it.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Keep the thoughts though, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
All right, but just say if I look at the word spiritual, spirit in the dictionary, right? It's a non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotions and character. And then it says the soul, right? So, and that's the first definition, right? Which the non-physical part of a person, which that definitely goes into the energy aspect, right?
Right.
And then it says it seats, which is the seat of emotions and character, right? Which that kind of makes up a person's personality, just everything. Maybe use the word aura in there, just the vibe of a person. It makes that up.
Okay.
It's like having team spirit. It's like you have morale for that team.
Right.
But when it jumps into soul, right, it's still in the same group. The spirit, everything is still in line, right?
Right.
But like I say, when people say, see, I can use that word spirit, and if that's a fact, if that definition is a fact, that means we all are spiritual, right? I mean, humans.
I think we would all have the capacity to be spiritual.
But that's what I'm saying. If you say if I'm human, right? I don't go around saying I'm human, right? So that's what confuses me when somebody says he's spiritual. We all spiritual. We all have a non-physical part of ourselves, which have emotions and a character and quotations or soul, right?
Right.
So we all are that. Even plants and animals, everything has its own soul, if you want to say, or spirit.
Right.
So everything is spiritual. We all linked in a certain way. Everybody produces an energy, then we are all spiritual. But you know, people go around saying I'm Christian. I'm Muslim.
Mm.
I'm
Well,
left wing. I'm right wing.
right. But see, a lot of
I'm a
people.
Ravens fan.
Right.
See, people are representing something.
Hmm. Right. But
So
see,
when you say spiritual, you represent this. But when you break it down to me, all you are saying is I'm human and I'm a living thing. And we all are under that category.
right. Right. But see, not a lot of people realize that though. See, that's the thing. Not a lot of people understand that. Not a lot of people are on that level. And I know that, for people like you and me, that's an easy concept. That's an easy enough concept that everyone is spiritual. On some level, everyone is spiritual. But at the same time, you have people out there that are like, no, no, I'm completely atheist. Um, I don't have any belief in anything or anyone, they like, okay, so take for instance Bill Maher. I love, 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 love Bill Maher. He is absolutely brilliant. I love his talk show. He's amazing. But he is a major atheist. And he even did an entire documentary back in, what was it, 2008, 2009, Religulous. I watched it once and I don't care to watch it again. Mainly because he likes to poke fun at religions, and that's not something that, I like. Um that's just me personally. I don't think that you should make fun of someone because of what they believe in. That's their uh-oh. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, someone was trying to contact me and my phone kind of got a little staticky there. um but yeah, so I don't really care for the way that um he comes off. But even he is spiritual and he just doesn't even realize it. He doesn't know it yet. And for someone like him, on his level of articulation and education, it's it's amazing, it's fascinating to me that he continuously says that, when you die, that's it, game over, nothing else left. It's baffling to me, and it's fascinating how so many people can be on such a higher level in different areas of their lives, but when it comes to spirituality and but the belief in something greater than yourself, that's, when they lack that, it's pretty eye-opening. And a lot of people are like that. A lot more people than we seem to think. So yes, you and we're on that same page here. Like, okay, everything, it has it. And when I say energies, it can mean your soul or whatever. There's what, oh gosh, I don't want to say it, I don't want to misspeak. It's like something crazy, like 99.8% of human life is made up of something tangible, like carbon and iron and calcium. And you can name these things that we're made up of, but and you can get right down to the exact percentages, but it's like 0.2% that they cannot account for. And so they'll just call it, that's the energy. That's the energy that, boom, that gives you that boost to, gives you the ability to walk and breathe and talk and see. And, that makes you you, that makes you yourself. So that's how they explain that away. But you want to call it energy, you want to call it your soul, you want to call it your chakras, you want to call it whatever it is, that's the thing that can't be created or destroyed. And so I don't know, That's kind of where I get into it at. But yeah, like you were saying, we do agree on a lot of stuff, and there's some stuff that we don't necessarily agree on, and that's okay. That's okay to not have to agree with somebody on every single thing. The whole reason why I wanted to do this series was to open people's perspective just a bit. I know it's a bit controversial, especially because I'm, saying a lot of things that kind of take away from, different religions and whatnot. And I noticed that a lot of people stop listening. They'll get to like the second or third episode and then it just kind of tapers off. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's okay. And I've gotten a couple of messages like, hey, uh, you were raised in the church. How is it that you got to where you are right now? How is it that you're so, somebody told me, how is it that you're so lost? And I'm like, honey, I'm not lost. I opened my mouth and I asked questions that you didn't feel like asking, or you didn't know to ask, or you did know to ask, but you were too afraid to ask because you're not supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to believe with blind faith. And I can't do that. Me, myself, the energy that makes up Marissa is not capable of blind faith. I have to be able to put my finger on it, or as someone smarter than me, like a scientist, has to be able to put their finger on it and to be able to explain it. And yeah, science is all ever changing, but that's the thing. Science is continuously changing, and we're learning and we're growing from that. Whereas religion just stays the same. It's the same thing day in and day out. How can you grow from any religion? How can you grow from that when it never changes?
All right, look, I got you.
Okay.
I want to sneak in again.
Okay,
Right?
go for it.
I understand everything you are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Not to keep saying, but I understand everything you said, and still, the energy aspect is. All right, let's get back to what you said about Bill Maher, right? I
Okay.
agree with Bill Maher. The movie Religious.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorite movies. It could be mean or wrong to treat certain people a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
beliefs, but I kind of see what he's saying. I kind of see the comedy value of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny.
I definitely look at it. Close the way you look at it, like it throws me off. Like just say if I listen to somebody speak, and they're very intelligent, right?
Mm.
And they breaking down like some scientific facts.
Mm.
They just breaking down certain things. Just say somebody know how to take apart a whole vehicle and put it back together.
Mm.
Just know some things. You like, oh, all right, very intelligent person. But when they start talking about Scientology, it throws me off. And I always wonder, I'm like, I look at this guy for I look at this person, woman or man, I look at this person and I see a very intelligent person. And I say to myself, how can this person believe in Scientology? And I never get a good understanding of why. You know, is it like I said, when you talk about spirituality, I wonder why. Because we definitely can believe in our organs. Because that make up us too, like our liver, pancreas, heart, lungs, our bones, our skin, our blood vessels.
Right.
If we miss a limb, we still can function, but we can't function the way we're supposed to function.
Gotcha.
Right.
And
we definitely can, like when you say energy, we all have that energy. Like my daughters, say my 4-year-old daughter, she don't know anything about energy. Nothing about energy. Only thing about energy she knows is not to touch the electrical socket. You know, but right. That's what I tell her. But I don't teach her about no different type of energy because it's nothing that has to be brought up. You know, like it's not a necessity in life. So you know what I do tell her? Like you gotta don't eat that candy because it's gonna mess up your inner body. Mm-hmm. Don't drink that as bad. It's gonna mess up your inner body. Right. Don't jump off that. You're gonna break your leg. It's all protection of the body. In the same way about animals, I would treat the animals the same way. I don't love animals. Like other people love. I like animals, but I don't love them. Right, right. But if I had an animal, I would protect their body. Nothing goes in it wrong. And and they will be alright. If I had a plant, I will feed them water, right? Right. And I will give them sunlight, but I will never let it sit there and just feel a vibe. It's already, if it has energy in it, it's already there from birth to death. Now, when you get into energy after death, that's when you start getting into being philosophical or believing back into belief, life after death, which nobody has. Not knocking you, but you have never been there and came back. If you've been there and came back and tell me, I'd be like, yeah, she knows. Right. Right. I'd be like, okay, I will take your word for it. Well, but I still would have to say to myself, people always lying in this world. Right. Right. So I think so. That's what confuses everything. I can believe you, but then I got to take that away. I can't worship it. Right. Right. So it's like space. When they talk about love, space, but you know what they tell you. You can read a whole book about space, right? Mm-hmm. But you know the truth about space is they only know. No. I'm going to take that. You can read a whole book about space from scientists, but they say 95% of the knowledge of space is all theory. Well, I mean, you've got cameras that are out there, and you've got the Hubble telescope. What you're seeing with your eyes, that's something still pretty tangible. A lot more so than the belief in something that you can't really see. And hold on, let me stop you right there. All right, we can believe with your eyes. You can't believe with anybody else's eyes. Right. You get what I'm saying? Right. People are liars. Right. And we ask why. It can be a million reasons. But I think everybody want to get their idea out there. They want to have the theory first, the idea first. They want to be the first one to invent this or create a name for it, conquer this part. They want to make it theirs. So people lie for so many reasons. If I can look up that space telescope, I will put 100% in what I'm looking at. But I can't, just because I'm looking through that telescope doesn't mean I stepped on that planet. Right. Right. It's confusing. No, I'm following you. But in the same sense, I know that the Sahara Desert is a place, is an actual place, because there are pictures of it. Now, just because there's a picture of something doesn't mean, you have to look at the sources and where did that picture come from and the credibility of that source. And, once you've got that tackled down, once you've got that nailed down, I don't have the resources to go to the Sahara Desert, but I know it's there.
and you can say the same thing about the moon. We see the moon with our own two eyes. We see them, we see it, even though we've never stepped foot on the moon. Well, when I say we, I mean you and me. We've never been to the moon. We still know that it's there. But I wanted to go back just a little bit. I wanted to touch on a couple of points that you had brought up. So, okay, you're talking about your 4-year-old daughter and how you tell her don't jump off of that. You're gonna break her leg, or don't put your finger in the socket. You'll get electrocuted. In the same way that you protect her body, I think it's just as important that you protect her spirit as well. Now, however you choose to do that, that's your own business. That's your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't nobody tell you how to raise your own child. But like for me personally, I'm not a Christian. My kids know I'm not a Christian. I don't attend church, but I send my kids. I send my kids there. The reasoning for that is there's a lot of stuff a lot of good things that can be taken away from religion, like um, how to be a productive member of society, and rules and manners, and being able to learn structure and how to do things. Now my kids come to me with questions about Christianity, and I'm like, I don't sit there and say, well, I think this, so this is how you should think. And my oldest son, he's very, very impressionable. Anything that I don't like, he automatically doesn't like. So I have to be very, very careful, especially with him. But, when they ask me these questions, I'm like, you know what? Hey, that's a good question. And I could answer it right then and there, but I want to show them, like, this is how you go about finding the answer. Let's look online. Let's go talk to a priest. Let's go talk to a reverend, a minister, a rabbi. Let's go talk, and a mom. Well, let's go talk to somebody and see if we can't get you the answers that you're looking for. And a lot of times they're not coming up with the answers that they're looking for. And that's a part of growing spiritually and in life. Sometimes you're not going to get the answers, one, that you like, or two, that you can that will satisfy your curiosity. And so you've got to go deeper. But all of that to say, for me personally, I feel as though everyone's spirit or energy deserves to be protected just as much as we protect our physical body. And then you spoke about plants, how you would water and feed a plant, but if the energy is still there. There's been several studies on, okay, what they would do is they would take seeds from whatever plant, and you can try this at home. This would be a really good experiment for your daughter to do. Like me and my kids, we've done this before. I can't remember what it was, some type of grass seed. But anyhow, we put the seeds in a wet paper towel, and we put we broke it up into 3 sections. You can put one in a climate um, that's good and will be able to grow. You go in, you water it, that's it, you leave it alone. And then the next one, you don't water it as often, and you put it somewhere a little bit colder or a little bit warmer, somewhere where it won't thrive as well, as easily as the first one, the group A. And then the last set, you don't water it as often. You water it as often as group B, but you talk to it. You talk to it every single day. You don't do it with the first two, you just do it with the last one. And by the end of the experiment, you'll see that the first group A, it'll grow the way that it's supposed to grow, because you're giving it water, you're giving it sunlight, you're giving it everything that it needs. The second one isn't going to grow so very well, but the last one will thrive more so than the second one. Not as much as the first one because you're not watering it enough, but it's going to grow or it's going to thrive a lot more than the second one, even though it's in the same environment because you're talking to it. It doesn't matter what you're saying to it. If you're saying good things like, you know, not like, oh, little bean, you're doing so well. But if you're just talking to it, giving it some type of interaction, then it'll still grow even without the nutrients that it's going to need to thrive better than group A. It's still going to grow more so than the other one, and you're doing the exact same things to the last two. So um with when I say with energy, and you're giving off those vibrations are being taken in, no matter whether or not it's a plant seed or another human being. You're still giving off a vibration that is being received by something. And then that brings me to the last point. You were talking about death, and if I had been there, you'd be a little bit more inclined to believe that, and then you'd have to take that away because people lie. I don't think it's so much that people lie about it. When we're close to death, our brain sets off an enormous amount of hormones. An enormous amount of hormones. And what is it called? I'm sure as soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna remember the name of it. But they've been able to extract this, and you can take it as like a hallucinogenic drug. But your body, yes, that. Okay, so your body creates that itself. And when you're close to death, and I mean like real close to death, your body sets all of that off. It's like, okay, this is it. This is the end. We're shutting completely down. And in order to keep the mind going, keep the brain going, we have to be able to cope with this some kind of way. And so people will see things like a light at the end of a tunnel, or they'll hear their loved ones voices off in the distance or whatever. Now there's a series of things that happen whenever you're dying. Your hearing is the first thing to go, and then it's sight, and then you're slowly losing your senses are being diminished. And once that last sense is completely gone, that's when your brain is like, okay, we're shutting the fuck down. We have to do something to ease this transition into whatever is going to happen. Because your body doesn't know what happened. Your cells don't know what's going to happen. And so I believe that these people that do claim that they've seen things, I believe that they believe that they saw these things or heard these things or felt these things or experienced these things. But in reality, it's they didn't. They didn't. Because if you're dead, in a lot of people, oh, near death experience, they call it near death experience because you didn't actually die. If you had died and then came back, you're only remembering what your brain is telling you to remember. That's not what actually happened. Because if you're dead, there's nothing there to perceive any of these things. Your senses are gone. Your senses are a huh?
I say you definitely going.
Yeah, your senses are a living aspect. That's something that's reserved for the living. Humans, animals, whatever. That is reserved for the living. The dead, we don't know. We have absolutely no idea, but I can tell you this, your body, when it's gone, it's gone. Like that, and like that's it. That's it. Your energy, it moves on to what? I have no idea. But your body, is it going to perceive a light at the end of the tunnel? That there's no way.
All right. I mean, can I jump in?
Yeah, yeah, go for it. Go. I'm done. That was it.